The New York Knicks will be making some moves this offseason, but if they're running it back with their core 7, there's still one thing this roster desperately needs, and that is defensive athletic guards. And according to Knicks beat reporter Steve Popper, they know it. So today we're going to dive into the latest batch of free agent targets the Knicks could go after using the $5.7 million taxpayer mid-level exception, or even a few veteran minimum deals to round out this roster and complete the mission. Let's get into it. Now, Steve Popper said it straight up: if the Knicks keep their core intact, meaning JB, Josh, OG, Mikal, Cat, Mitch, and Deuce, then they're going to need to add guards who can defend, bring energy, and keep up with the athleticism of other top playoff teams. And with limited flexibility, that means strategic spending, using the $5.7 million MLE and minimum contracts to find real contributors. One name that came out of nowhere from Popper's report is Khris Middleton. Now let me be clear, Middleton is not a defensive athletic guard, but Popper said he could be worth a flyer, especially if Jason Kidd somehow ends up in New York. Middleton had a strong connection to Kidd from their Milwaukee days, and while it seems unlikely at the moment, the Knicks did request permission to speak with Kidd recently, even though they were denied. So there's at least some connection there, and I wouldn't bet on Middleton, but Popper bringing him up shows the Knicks are thinking creatively and looking at all angles. Now let's get into the actual guard targets that match the defensive and athletic label. First up is Malik Beasley. He spent last season with the Pistons and shot nearly 42% from 3. He's not an elite defender, but he's athletic and can space the floor. Could be a good fit if the Knicks want offense first with upside, but I think it's highly unlikely because the Knicks just won't be able to afford him. Next up is Gary Trent Jr. The Knicks have been linked to him before, and there's a new rumor from NBA Trade Report on X saying that New York has interest again. And he was one of the names just mentioned by Steve Popper in the article as well. So that at least adds a little bit more credibility to the report, but Trent Jr. does make sense. He's only 26 years old, solid defender when locked in, and can guard 1 through 3. He'd be one of the better two-way guard options in this range. He also averaged nearly 42% from 3-point range last season and 11 points per game. And if he's willing to accept a minimum deal with the Knicks for a chance to compete for a championship, I would definitely be all for it. The next name mentioned by Steve Popper is Matisse Thybulle. If the Knicks want a straight-up defensive specialist, Thybulle might be the best on this list. He's very limited offensively, but he's one of the best point-of-attack defenders in the NBA. Think Frank Ntilikina, but more confident and way more disruptive. Also, side note, Steve Popper says do not think about Quentin Grimes as an option for the Knicks, as it is not happening. And then lastly, the name mentioned is Justin Minaya, a lesser known name but super intriguing. He's long, athletic, and plays with energy. He's definitely a sleeper pick to fill that last guard/wing spot, especially on a minimum. And if the Knicks do not use the full mid-level exception, they could go minimum value hunting, and two names from earlier in the week still apply: Landry Shamet and DeLon Wright. The two current Knicks who will be free agents this summer. Landry Shamet is a knockdown shooter and might not be a needle mover, but he's a smart team defender and could fill minutes on a pinch. And then with DeLon Wright, the guy is a defensive pest. We've seen it in the playoffs. He's a vet, he's reliable, and he could step in as a backup ball handler if needed. Also worth mentioning is second-year player Tyler Kolek. The Knicks took him in the draft last year, and he's already one of the best passers on the roster. The big question with Kolek is his defense. If he takes a leap on that end this summer and shows it in Summer League, he could push for that backup point guard role, especially if the Knicks do not land a Brogdon type or go after for a vet like Dinwiddie. So again, the Knicks are obviously in win-now mode, and that means every last roster spot counts. And with limited spending tools left, finding the right defensive-minded guard could be the difference between another deep playoff run and getting bounced early. So let me know in the comments, which of these names do you think makes the most sense? Should the Knicks go for upside with Gary Trent Jr., a defensive anchor like Thybulle, or play it safe with someone like DeLon Wright? And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more Knicks news and updates you will not want to miss. It's been KNYT here, and I'll see you guys in the next one.